Welcome back to my channel. In today's video we're going to be looking at how to sync a gradient's color to a beat or a music. Yes, you've heard me right. So we're going to be using different colors of a gradient and we're going to be syncing it with the song. So you might have seen this technique being used by Trap Nation, where they have this logo moving with the beat itself. So we're going to be creating something like that, but in a different way. We're going to be using colors instead of a text. But if you're also looking for how to do it with the text, we're also going to be showing it in the tutorial sub. So just stick to the video and you'll get there. So before we move into today's video, I want to mention thank you so much for the 200 subscribers, guys. We hit another milestone. This is again not something big, but I'm really grateful for that. I've mentioned it 2 videos ago that my subscriber count is less than the viewers that I have. So I'm really glad that people out there are subscribing to me right now. And if you're not subscribed to me yet, please do subscribe to me and make sure you hit the bell button so that you stay updated with all my latest videos. So without further ado, let's just jump into it. Right off the bat, we're going to be using purely Adobe After Effects for this tutorial. So we're going to jump into After Effects. I've already created my composition, so I'm not going to waste time on that. 9020 and 1080. So first and foremost thing that we're going to be doing is we're going to be creating a new layer. So come to your composition, create a new layer. It's going to be a solid. So I'm going to be picking the colors from the beginning. So it doesn't matter like what color you choose. So I'll just be initially just going with my own colors that I feel like I want to go with. So I'll just go with purple, I guess, for the first one, because we're going to be adding different hue and saturation. So I'll come to that real quick. Then the thing that we're going to be doing is we're going to be selecting the pen tool over here. Make sure your solid is selected. While your solid is selected, go to the pen tool, because we want to create a mask of this solid itself. So how do we do that? We just simply come here and draw curves, because this is going to be our main gradient. And as you can see, I've made my first gradient over here. So we're going to be calling this gradient technically down the line. And then once the gradient is made, what I'll be doing is I'll be coming here and going to something called Turbulent Displace. So we're gonna slap that bad boy on the layer itself, and as you can see that it already looks displaced, the shape itself. Now what we're gonna be doing is we want to add a subtle animation to it. It's gonna be very slow. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna be playing with the evolution over here. So for this, we're just gonna press and hold on Alter and left click on the evolution stopwatch over here. And as you can see that we see an expression over here, down over here. So I'm just going to change it to time into 200. So it's going to be using that expression, and it's just going to move this thing automatically. So voila, we have our first animation over here. Now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be adding, since we made it a mask, the reason why we made it a mask is because we want to treat it as a gradient. So that's why this is a different way of making gradients. So we're going to use this feather option over here. And as you can see, when we use the feather, the edges become very lighter, like it has this feather effect on it. And as you can see now, it's like very much like it has this, like, it turns black as it goes, transparent or whatever you call it. So then after we've achieved this, if you play it now, you'll see that it's this animation, like you feel like something is moving, like waves and all. So that's what we wanted to achieve, and that's what you exactly achieved. Now the next thing that I want to do is I'm gonna go over here and we're gonna bring out hue, saturation, and slap it to the bad boy. And over here, as you can see that the hue saturation has different master and hue, which can change color and all, but we're not going to be using that, since we want to sync the beat with the color itself. So the way for us to do it is using this method called colorize. So tick that box over here, and then over here you can see that you have different colorize and hue, colorize saturation, and color lightness. So for the first one, I think I'll be going with 306 for now. I have jotted these values down because I was technically initially working on this. So yeah, it'll be something like this. Now to work with something like that, we're going to be basically changing its color as the beat goes. So the next step for us would be to come back here, get our song. So I didn't want to get copyright strike by some other YouTubers, so I'm using a song of our band. Our band is called Craze. We make songs, and you guys should definitely check us out. So I'm using the most recent song from our YouTube. So yeah, I'll put the link in the description. We're called Craze again. So anyway, so jumping back to this, I'm just gonna see where it plays from because I wanna go to the chorus. Again, I'll hold here. Okay, yeah. So I want to play from right back in time. So this is the chorus of the song. Okay. Alright, so cool. So what we want to do now is we want to sync, as I say, this music like with the colors. So how do we do that? You technically simply right click on your audio file, head over to your keyframe assistant, go to convert audio to keyframes. Now when you do this, it converts your audios to actual keyframes in amplitude form. So you get this audio amplitude layer over here. So if you have this drop down, go to effects, you see left channel, right channel, and both channels. So it's getting the amplitude for all 3 channels. We do not need the left and right channel, so I'm going to simply delete those. We're going to be just fiddling around with the both channels. So right now, as you can see, that there are a bunch of keyframes over here, and this is the thing. This is the key to your work. So what it's gonna do is it's simply amazing. You're gonna love what I'll be doing in the next few seconds. So I'll be first off, like I won't be working on the entire project, so I'll just take the first 10 seconds of it. I'll be going down the keyframe, copying this first 10 seconds of the keyframe, and then I'll just close the drop down, and I'll go to our layer again, this layer that we were working on, and go to effects, control. Then while this is open like this, if you double click, left double click with control, holding control, you'll see the color hue popping up over here. Now we're going to add a stopwatch to this because we want to animate the colorize and hue. Remember, the value is 306, but when we paste our keyframes, the color changes. Do not worry about that. We're going to be changing it right now. Now, there are 2 ways we can change the color. You can either click on it and type the value in, or you can use the knob to like a slider. We're not going to be inputting any value because what it's going to do is, as you can see, all of my keyframes are selected over here. It'll affect all the keyframes and make everything 306. We do not want that. What we want to do is instead, we take this knob and go all the way to the left until we reach 306. What this will be doing is basically it will just simply add the 306 to the first one and calculate it in its own way so that the amplitude still changes. See, looks pretty cool. So if we actually play it now with the song, let's try it out. Right back in time. So as you can see, the color changes with the beat. It's amazing. Now, we're not done yet. So this was the thing we did for the first one. In the same way, we're going to be doing it for the second, third, and fourth. So what we're going to do now is simply just select this layer. The work is now going to be like a breeze. We're going to be duplicating this layer by just Control D. And you can see that we have 2 layers. I'm going to call the first one purple. Make sure the one at the bottom is at the top because you're going to be stacking behind, because you'll see why. So now after we have the purple, the next one I'll just select. Make sure you select the layer first. Then you have your move selection tool, and then you can see all these points that you've created before for your using your pen tool. So you can actually move these around now. So I'll just come up it to the top, move these around. As you can see, you can also change the wave. Just play around, you know, be creative. I'm just showing it right now just for the sake of the tutorial. I'll try to make it as nice as I can as well. As you can see that I've created this right now. Now we can really understand the difference because the colors are the same. So to change the color, we're just going to come to the drop down and we're going to go to colorize and hue, or you can even change it from here. Now, before we do that, make sure You do not change the color like this. I mean, supposed to use a slider, but make sure the first thing that you do is select all of the keyframes first. Otherwise, it's not going to reflect throughout your entire keyframe. You know, you're going to see a sudden difference in the colors itself. So make sure you selected all the keyframes over there. So the next one that I'll be going with is 291. And then this one will be 51. And this one will be 65. Right. So as you can see that we have a different kind of a gradient over here right now. But I would try to change the color as well over here so that you kind of get a different vibe from it. Let's see what I want to really go with. Okay, so I'll stick to this, I guess. Right. So once that one's created, as you can see now, the difference is more visible, and when you actually play it, it looks different. Right. For the next one, I'm just gonna call it, I don't know who now, I'm gonna rename it to magenta. So this one's done. The second one's done. We're gonna play with the third one now. So it's the same concept. Duplicate the layer. We're just going to make it bigger over here. If you're following with me, you can also use these colors and the way I'm really doing it. Or if you want to have different colors in mind, you guys can go with that too. So we have another color over here. As you can see, we changed how it looks like. We're now going to change the colorizing hue. So for this one, the hue I'll be going with is 266. Yeah, 266 with 65 and 42. 65, 42. Right, but for this one, I think, yeah, this shouldn't be 65, this should be 51. So just in case if you want to change it. Now, as you can see, there's a different color kind of going on. Just down a bit. You can still play around with these however you want to. So as you can see, then there's a different. Oops, I moved it too much. There's a different color now over here. It's like a slightly different purple. Yeah, and I love purple, so you see that's why there's so many purple going on. Okay, I've made a mistake over here as I kept saying this. So let's say you change the knob from here, it will just put it for the first one, and when you go to the next one, see it's actually matching the second layer that we had. So we won't be doing that. I'll be control Zing because I forgot not to do it because I'm dumb. So I'll just control Z until I get this back to 291. Okay, now perfect. We have this on 291. So we're gonna go down here with the colorize hue, select all the layer keyframes. Make sure you do this, please. So then you're gonna go where it was 266. You're not gonna also do this. Please make sure you don't do that. Oh my god, I'm forgetting everything. So with these selector like this, you're just gonna hold it down to 266, and this is how you're gonna achieve it. For the other ones, you don't really care. You can go however you want to. So this one's gonna be 42. I gotta change this one as well. This should be 51. 51. Yeah. So yeah, it looks nice enough right now. I'm just gonna drag this one here below because I want this to get a bit more of the space. Right. Now with this one, I don't know, man. I'm gonna name it something like magenta 3. I'm bad with naming colors, so I'll just leave it as it is for now. So we're gonna create another 2 different colors. So for this one, I'll go a bit more up. So you can definitely play around with the waves. Just for the sake of the tutorial, I won't be really messing with that right now. Now over here, we're just going to have the drop down, so the colorize hue, make sure we pick all the keyframes again. And then we're gonna work on the values. So over here, this one should be 242. And then for this, 43 and 45. 43, 45 for lightness. Cool. As you can see that we are already having this really nice pastel kind of a gradient going on. But I'm still not gonna play it because I want to wait for the surprise and the suspense. So yeah, Then I'll go to my last one over here. So I'll be, before this, I can finally change the color name of it. I can call it something like pastel blue. Bro, it's all good. Okay. Blue. Okay, now what I'll be doing is I'll be going for the last but not least one. So I'll be duplicating it again, going all the way to the top this time, making sure that entire frame is covered. So yeah, make sure it's like that so that there's no, edges with the black spot or something like that. So for this one, we're gonna come down again, select all of my keyframes. It's the same process, but a different color this time. So this one will be 231. 231. And then 50 and 19. So 50, this will be 19. Great. So we have a different color over here. Now I'll be just moving this a bit more so that now this is our end result of what we just created so far. Now we're gonna be playing it just to see how it looks like. If you look at it now, it's gonna something like this. Right back in time. So you can see with the kick and all, it's like syncing so well. So yeah, that's how it's going to be like. It's a pretty cool thing. I learned this while making the lyric video for this itself. I really was looking forward to how to change the colors. I would say that this process that I've tried using the other steps, it didn't really work, but colorize really helps you to make it as you want to change the colors. Now we're not done yet, so this is what we did with the gradient. So you can, you can get creative with this thing and do a lot of stuff. So if you want, you can add a stroke to it. Make sure none of your layers is selected, so make it stroke. It's just for the show, it's just to make it look nice. I'm gonna go with something like 18, I guess, and then I'm just gonna align it to the center. And yeah, so you have a nice border as well with it. So just in case you wanted to look a bit more nicer and on. Now we tried it with a gradient. What if we tried with a picture? It's the same thing if you want to do it with the text, so it doesn't really matter. So I'm gonna drag in the logo of my band and praise. Yes, it was done by me a long time ago. Do not ask me why we're called praise. That's also a long story. So yeah, as you can see that I have the logo over here right now, and I scaled it down to 80. I'm going to be basically now animating this as well. So basically I'll be syncing this with the music. So for this, the process is going to be a bit more different. So I'm just going to drag the audio amplitude at the top because I want it to be near the logo. So first of all, what we're gonna mess with this is the scaling. So if we put S, and you can see the scale is there. So if we move this, you can see that it's going up and down. And that's what we literally want for our video. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna come down to audio amplitude over here as well. And you can see the slider. Now, for this one, we're not going to be copy pasting the keyframes over here because you'll get an error. So what kind of error will you get? It'll look something like this. The error will like copy and paste to your scale. It'll say After Effects error can't paste from 1 dimension to 3. So it makes sense. Your scale is technically 3 dimensions and it is 1 dimension, so it's not possible. But what you could do is you can always assign this scaling to this slider. So how do you do that? Basically, first off, you can just go to this thing over here, property pick width. So we're gonna pick this width and we can just assign it to the slider. And you'll see that it became smaller because why? It's following the same values as here. As you can see, it matches. So, but it's doing its work, it's scaling up and down. But however, how do we make it the same size as this? So we Control Z. So if you did that, just undo it. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be holding an Alt key and clicking the stopwatch of the scale over here. And as we do so, we're going to see the expression bar again. So first thing we do is we take the whip and assign it to the slider, and then you see all these expressions popping up over here. So that's how it's working basically with these expressions. We get the thing done. So now we're gonna be adding one extra command to it. So we're just gonna plus, then we are going to add 80 comma 80 because minus 80 by 80. So yeah, this is what we're gonna be doing, and then we're just gonna let it be like that, and you see it's gonna be like the same as it was. Actually, it's not the same as it was it? Okay, so I'll just go with 60, I guess. Yeah, this one seems to be fine. So now, as you can see, that I have it like this. So now, if I were to play this with the music itself, this is how I'm gonna be looking like. Right back in time. So it looks good. It looks good, but however, you can see that it's too shaky, and it's literally following like all the amplitudes, which makes it look odd. There's a way to fix that. How do we fix that? It's simple. So we add and get another expression. So how do we get add another expression? Is that we press and hold to our alter, click on the slider over here, as in the stopwatch here, and then over here we're going to have this. We're just going to remove it. We're going to call ease, and then after we have the ease in the brackets, we're going to have some expressions over here as before. So we're going to have like something called value, and you just type the value first, and then you're going to have a range, which is basically the threshold. So as you know, we're working with amplitude over here. If you come to the graph for this, you can see that this is the amplitude for the sound. So what we're going to do is we're going to be telling them which amplitude to detect the bouncing from. Okay, so that it's going to, let's say it reaches the amplitude of 20, it starts from there until 40 or something like that. So for this, I already kind of worked out with this. So I found the sweet spot to be around 40 to 80. So that's the amplitude. Like from 40 to 80, it's gonna go up and down, up and down, up and down. And then we're gonna go with how much do you want it to scale from, like from 0 to 80 or what. So we're gonna just go with 0 to 80 for now, and see how it looks like. Moving literally the entire time, but here it's moving a bit less. But I do agree that it's not the best. Like, you could definitely go play with these values even more to find out a better spot for it. So if I were to go with 20, right back in time. So if you were to go with 20, right back in time. So as you can see that this one looks better, but it's still wobbly. So you can definitely fix these around with by playing these values and getting your sweet spot. But this is what we wanted to achieve throughout the entire video. So if you were to like look at the entire thing, so basically that's it. We've seen this thing being used in different kind of trap nation songs and a lot of stuff for a long time, but I wanted to do it in a different approach because I wanted to see if you can really make the gradients work with it and all. So there you have it. You can apply it on text and other stuff. Go creative with it. You now know how audio amplitude works, and that's how you play with it. So that's it for today. Hope you guys really liked this video. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.